What up, gang? Carolina Jackpot time coming at you. It is Tuesday evening. I hope everybody is doing good today. I'm doing great. The cold kind of smashed us in the back of the head, like some guy named Nicky swinging a pool cue that snuck in the back of the billiards hall and just decided to waylay some son of a bitch. That's exactly what it did, and then it just snuck right back out the back door. But it's supposed to be warm again tomorrow, but it's been cold as shit the past 2 days. Go figure. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for dropping by. If you're new around here, stay true around here. Subscribe to the Carolina Jackpot channel. Also, hit this video with a thumbs up. Don't forget about the live show we're going to do on November the 28th. That is the Friday night, right before the South Carolina Clemson game at 8 p.m. at Calloways Sports Bar and Grill, West Columbia, South Carolina. I'm going to put it down in the description box below the link to Calloways so you get the directions there. It's diagonally across from the Walmart on Highway 1. Everybody knows where that's at, right? Everybody's been to Walmart before. I don't know. You might not have been at Walmart. It's kind of in the hood, but it's okay. It's still a fun place to go hang out. It really is. It really is. I promise you. But just because we're going to have this at a bar doesn't mean you have to drink, so don't feel obligated to come out and drink and say, I'm not going to come because I don't really participate in that kind of stuff. And we are going to do some contests that consist of wing eating, beer chugging, dart throwing, trivia, a lot of fun stuff. But you don't have to drink to come out there. So please make sure that you understand everyone is invited and everyone is included. That's an 8 o'clock live show. Rob and I will be sitting up on the stage picking our games, and then you can meet us. You can talk shit. You can insult me if you want to. It really doesn't matter. Any kind of fellowship that I can participate in with you guys is wonderful. So I will see you all there. There's no invite necessary. There's your invitation. Now, getting into what I want to talk about today. South Carolina versus Texas A&M this coming Saturday at 12 noon, 11 a.m. local time, as everybody's saying nowadays, at Kyle Field, College Station, Texas. They are currently a 19.5-point favorite against the Gamecocks, sitting here ranked number 3 in the country. We'll see if that changes tonight. The playoff rankings come out. I don't know. I don't know if they might jump up to number 2. They may jump Indiana. But you really can't jump Indiana, though. I mean, I guess they did. I'm not going to say that. Did they struggle with Penn State? Yeah, they struggled with Penn State. But I got to think the totality of that game, the way they came back on that last drive, the stones that they showed coming back on that last drive kind of negates, to me, the struggle for the other 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters, whatever it was, if that makes any sense to anybody. I'm sure it does if you pick it apart. They may be number 2, but they'll at least be number 3 because they ain't dropping nowhere. 9-0. South Carolina's sitting here at 3-6. South Carolina has to win 3 games in a row. They have to win their final 3 games to be eligible for a bowl. That's not happening. South Carolina's not going to go to a bowl game. Unless, here's the only scenario where South Carolina could go to a bowl game. They have taken teams with losing records before. They took them during the COVID season, obviously, to fill out the roster of bowls because there were a bunch of teams that opted out of the bowls or couldn't participate in them for whatever reason. Too many people with dick. And then that's happened before where they took losing teams. Now, you've got some teams out there that may end up being bowl eligible that have fired their coach. Some of those teams, they may opt out of a bowl if they are eligible for one. So that's a scenario where I could see it, but they're not making a bowl. Let's just go ahead and say that. So they got to play really well these last 3 games to kind of try to salvage the season, kind of appease the fan base. New offensive coordinator, or interim offensive coordinator, Mike Fury, is going to be taking over the play calling for the Gamecocks, along with input from the rest of the offensive staff. We don't know what this is going to look like. I kind of got to say I'm kind of interested to see what happens. You know, we saw Auburn this past Saturday afternoon with DJ Durkin, who's taken over as the interim coach, who was the defensive-minded head coach. He was the defensive coordinator. and the team puts up more points probably than they had in the past 3 ball games, well, they scored some points against Arkansas, but you know what I'm saying. Auburn's offense has been bad all year long, kind of like South Carolina's. And they put up more points there than they had all year. Still in a loss, looked a whole lot better, played a lot looser. Do we see something like that from South Carolina? It's possible, but we still got to go back and kind of pull ourselves back because the offensive line is still an issue. At Ole Miss, the offensive line was a huge issue. It just was. I mean, you gave up a sack with 2 people rushing. Now, to that point, Lenora Sellers probably played his worst game of the season at Ole Miss, too. So he had a big hand in himself getting sacked, too. But let's not try to act like the offensive line was innocent in all this. Tree Babalade probably played his worst game of the season. But Josiah Thompson probably played his best, and he'd been playing bad all year. So go figure that. Point is, these guys have got to improve. They've just got to keep working and trying to improve here. This is going to be a tough matchup. It's going to be a tough bunch to go against. You beat them by 20-something points last year. It was a 3-touchdown victory at home, in which Carolina pulled away in the 4th quarter. It really wasn't that lopsided. The final score made the thing look a lot more lopsided than it really was. It was a tight ball game going into the 4th quarter, and Carolina was able. Rocket Sanders had a big day. Norris had a big day, and we were able to get that dub. That was the one Mazio Bennett got hurt in that game, and he was out for a little while after that. And man, it was a big deal then. And Mazio been on a milk carton all year this year. I don't know. The whole damn offense, touchdowns have been on a milk carton this year. Touchdowns have been on a milk carton this year. It's not a great scenario for us. That 19.5 points, I don't know, man. I don't know where I would put it at. I think this is kind of a thing where Carolina might be able to score a couple of touchdowns and catch them flat-footed, not knowing what to expect. But ultimately, A&M is going to be able to take over here and bully their way to a victory in this ball game. I'm thinking it might be like a 34-17 type deal, but that's just me right now. I haven't really given that a whole lot of thought. I wanted to talk about Shane Beamer and his press conference that he did today. You know, he does a weekly press conference, and he did one today, as per usual. This guy, he cannot help himself. He can't not say something stupid. He can't not make excuses. He can't not fail to take accountability, even though he says he's taking accountability for certain things. He's not, based off other things that come out of his mouth. Case in point, here we go today. A reporter asked him about, could Mike Fury end up being the permanent play caller? I mean, could it be considered that he's going to be? And you know, he goes into this long spiel about, everybody will be given an opportunity. I don't really have a list right now, and I'm paraphrasing. But then he goes into this diatribe about, I know that there's been a running commentary that I've always that I've made bad offensive coordinator hires here. I haven't made the right hires. I like to hire NFL guys. And yes, our first offensive coordinator I hired here, yes, he had NFL experience with the freaking Panthers, with Joe Brady. And the Panthers did pretty well when there's, okay. I mean, so he basically went on a big tangent there of defending Marcus Satterfield, telling everybody, oh, yeah, well, at the end of the season there in 2022, he put 63 points up on Tennessee, and he scored more points at Clemson than anybody had, or than we've ever scored against them since I've been here, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, first of all, he wasn't calling the plays in those damn 2 games. There ain't no way. There is no way. They had scored like 12 points the previous 2 weeks. And this is the one where Sports Talk Jay, this is the game where he's talking about, South Carolina stole their signals. So I had this Connor Stallions deal going on. No, somebody else was calling those plays. We don't know who it was. There was an analyst there named Freddie Kitchens who ended up being going to North Carolina, I think, and being their offensive coordinator. That some think we're calling the plays. Nobody really knows, but it didn't look like a Marcus Satterfield offense. But he goes on this big long diatribe of defending him, and then blatantly just lies to the fan base and says, well, at the end of the season, no, he was not fired. Nebraska hired a new head coach who had worked with Marcus at Temple and Western Carolina, and he his first phone call was to Marcus to come become his offensive coordinator. Okay, well, that might have happened. He may have called him to become his offensive coordinator, but his contract expired. He was on a 2-year contract, and his contract wasn't renewed. So you did fire him. You pretty much pushed him out. You didn't renew his contract. I don't think there were any discussions of it being renewed. And I think had you done so, the fan base would have probably strung you up by your toenails then. I mean, why insult everyone's intelligence? We know what happened. And he went on this big diatribe, and it was totally like unprovoked. There was no reason to be even going into this big long spiel. But all he had to tell you was, I don't have a plan as yet of who we're hiring. In the back of my mind, I've been trying to think of some things, but right now we're still trying to focus on getting through the end of this season and ending it on a positive note. None of that stuff even matters anymore. You didn't even have to talk about it. So this guy's always got to get the last word in. He argues like a child. And I've told you people and told you. I don't like him because he's emotionally immature. Now, that said, I mean, I'm hot-headed. I'm hot-headed and I lose my temper. I might throw shit. But he's emotionally immature. He will not accept the blame for any of this stuff. Even though he tells you he is, he's not. How do I know that he doesn't accept blame for the shitty hires he makes? Because of shit like that. Because he has to bring this up. Because he has to dredge up a bunch of crap and put it on the fans that there's a narrative going around here that I make bad hires. Well, it's because you do. It's because you do. And it's because your fans, for the most part, most of the fan base, whether they're sunshine pumpers or whether they're realists like myself or whether they're just old haters, all have a set of working eyeballs. We see what's going on out here. This is the most discombobulated, disappointing team that I think this is the most disappointing team that I've seen at South Carolina since I've been a fan. Rob asked me about this on our show the other night, probably a week and a half ago. Was this the most disappointing? And I was like, I don't know. This one was disappointing, and this is the most disappointing. This one is the most disappointing. The 2023 team was disappointing, but I mean, we had the injuries that we could kind of always fall back on as an excuse there. We had, the fact that we only had one capable receiver on the team to kind of fall back on as an excuse there. This one doesn't have that. You've got a superstar quarterback that most people were rating either the number 1 or number 2 quarterback in the conference going into the season. You got this freak on the outside that everybody's just waiting to break out, who has kind of broken out at times, right? We love the post route with Nick Harbor. We love the post route. We run it. It works. We've ran it like 3 times this year. You got a freak on the edge, on the defensive line, and Dylan Stewart. You've got some other talented pieces on the defensive side of the football. I didn't think you had the talent on the 2023 team that you've got here. You didn't. Vegas over-under win total this year was set at 7.5, so I knew there was going to be a drop-off because Vegas is not wrong often. So none of that correlated with the number 13 national ranking in the preseason as we went into week 1 with this Vegas over-under win total. But it's still disappointing, okay? It's still disappointing. There's a whole lot of difference between 7 or 8 wins than 3 wins or 4 wins. There's a lot of difference there. So, yeah, I mean, this is the most disappointing. None of the other ones had expectations. I mean, 2014 is probably the closest that I can come to being the most disappointing because you were coming off of 3 11-win seasons in a row. You lost some talent there, but I mean, you still had Steve Spurrier as your coach. You still had some of the talent off of those 11-win teams. Everybody assumed it was just going to go on and it was going to continue like that, and it just didn't. That one was pretty disappointing too, but hell, at least that bunch made it to a bowl game. At least that bunch could score. Okay, they couldn't tackle a damn soul. I mean, that's it. They couldn't tackle shit. That was terrible. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'd probably rather have. Would you rather have a shitty offense that scores no points, or a shitty defense that gives up a ton of points, but a lights out offense? I'd probably go with that, because I mean, the goal is to put more points on the scoreboard than the other team. If your offense is shitty, you can't do that. So, I mean, I guess I'd roll with that. This has just been, and with that too, at least it can be fun to watch, right? It can be fun to watch. This is not fun to watch. Not fun to watch at all. So, this guy is just, I mean, he's digging his own grave. And to that point, nothing that he says right now is going to resonate with the fans in a positive light until he puts some W's up on that scoreboard in that win column. It's not going to work. You're not going to be, nobody's going to buy into what you're saying. Everything that you say is going to be wrong. Everybody's going to side-eye everything that you say. It's just the way it is. Everything is hunky-dory and lovely when you're winning. But when you're not, everything is the shits. Even if inherently it's not. Or it's not meant to be. So go check his press conference out from today. I don't even have the energy to link it in the description box below, but y'all know where to find it. Get on YouTube and find that thing. It's under Shane Beamer press conference. Just type it in and put on a pair of hip waders before you listen to it, because it gets deep. It gets deep, especially around the 20-minute mark. Anyway, I'll see you guys later on. I appreciate you listening. Peace, and I'm out of here. Don't forget to check the description box below for Calloways. I'd like to see each and every one of you guys out. I'm not going to see each and every one of you out there. I'd like to see a bunch of you out there, though. I'll see y'all later. Appreciate your peace. I'm out of here. Go Gamecocks.